All right. Good morning, LAP. Hope everyone's doing well on this Friday, September 25th. Order bank for the Escape is 25,106. Corsair, 1,968 for a total of 27,074. So far, the order bank's holding good. No issues there. Everyone should have received their 3% raise on this week's check. I haven't looked at mine yet to see if the back pay will be there. If the back pay is not there, it will be on the next week's check. If you've gotten a bid or you've gotten a rate change that you're waiting for, most all that will catch up after the 3% has been paid out to everybody. Everything has been verified and they don't need to make any more adjustments. Then they're going to go back and catch up and back pay all the pay rates that people are owed and or the 3% difference from the September 14th rate. Bi-weekly updates, you should have seen those inside the magazine racks with the onlines. If there wasn't any there, then we'll know we need to print up a few more for those different areas. We're going to try to do that bi-weekly like we used to, except putting them in there, so grab you one when you walk through the turnstile or out of the turnstile. Also, we're going to try to send those out to the team leaders in the area, so if the team leaders wish to print out 10 or so for their area and set on a table to let people get those, we'd appreciate that also. The COVID survey. If you ain't had a chance to look at the COVID survey lately as you're coming through the gate, you notice it has changed. There are only 3 questions on the COVID survey. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it or know what's on it, there's only 3 questions now. But the same premise goes. If you answer any one or more of the 3 questions with the yes, you will not be permitted to work and remain at the facility. You must leave the property. Then you need to call medical and labor relations. If you fail the survey, let them know. So make sure you're taking the time to read through the survey at least once a week, because just in case anything changes, I will continue to let you know as things change. We had a few conversations and a few people stopped us as me and the barn committee make our walks around the plant. There's a new system that Ford's put in place called ART, Attendance Recording Tool. We all knew when we started having to badge in that they were going to be able to, just like the forklifts, be able to track when you come in the building at any time that they wanted to. They tried to do the attendance call-in line, getting people to call in with the call-in line so they know who's here, who's not here, so they can get coverage. People have stopped calling in, are using that tool, so the line's not starting up. They don't know who to cover or whatever, and I guess enough plants push forward to try to get this tool implemented. Locally, we don't agree with it. Nationally, the International UAW doesn't agree with it. They're having their discussions up north. They already know how all the plants feel. So their attendance, they know exactly when you buzzed in the gate. Most process coaches can pull up the ART program. They know red means you haven't came through the gate. Black means you've already checked in, that you're here in the plant somewhere and you've gone through, done your survey. So they know what jobs to cover at 5:58, or depend if it's day shift, or 4:58 if it's night shift. They know exactly which jobs need to be covered on the line while they're sitting at their computer. They can see where to send the utility or the people that are extra right there, where they need to go immediately, because within the last 2 or 3 minutes of the shift, you haven't clocked through the gate. They know you're going to maybe be running late or had to use a security guard to come in. You'll already be on your job. There have been a few glitches in the system. It's not 100% proof. There's some things, if you go out, you forget something in your car, you go back out, you come back in, it's only registering the last time you went out to your car to come back in. It only affects about 2% or 3% of the population of the plant. 98% of us are pretty much here 30 minutes or sooner for our job and show up every day on time like we're supposed to. So the honor system that we've always had in place apparently was getting abused, not necessarily all here at LAP as it was around the country, but if someone up north's looking at it, they see exactly how many people badged in late and how many lates at the plant showing all together. There was a big discrepancy in pay as far as who showed up late, who came in late, and what the actual drops are showing as late charges or overpayments. So right now, like I said, there's a disagreement on it, but if you're supposed to start, whatever your start time is, please make sure you're on time and before your start time as you come through the gate. Day off slip, is something that we've been instituted for a long time. It hasn't changed. If you're going to be requesting off any day for any reason, vacation, excuse, planned or unplanned absences, you must fill out a day off slip. No exceptions. Do not leave it up to the boss to remember to put you on the calendar, or for 2 or 3 days later you're not on the calendar and you already see there's 3 or 4 people's name on there and now you don't get on the calendar. Fill out the slip completely. Get your white copy back, which is the cover of the day off slip. If you look down here on the bottom corner, it says employee copy. Once you fill out this copy, make sure the same day you turn it in, they sign it, they date it, and you get this copy back. The white copy comes back to you. Once the supervisor has received them all throughout the day, he or she's supposed to fill out the yellow copy by seniority, fill up his or her calendar, and then return the pink slip. The pink copy comes back to you. So white copy, when you turn it in, you should have it by the end of the day. If not, make sure you go get it because it'll be date stamped. Within 3 days, if they haven't turned it back in, then they're going to have to give you the day. The pink copy is once you're approved or denied. Also, get a chance on how many people have actually looked at it. Look at the bottom. If you want to work overtime, you want to be called, or you don't want to work, you must check that box and put your phone number in. If you're off for any of these reasons, please fill one of these out. This is what the committeemen and the bargainers use to argue and fight for your days off. If you got that white slip, you got that pink slip, that gives us something to go off of. If you said, I told the supervisor, and he or she says, no, they never said nothing, they just said they might, we don't give a real argument. We got something in writing that they signed, they dated, they returned to you, we're in good shape. The big ass fan project, maintenance is still working on the big ass fans throughout the building. You'll see a lot of motors in place without the fan blades as they get those wired up. One of the holdups is the fire marshal has to come in and approve and make sure everything works. So if there's a fire in the system, shuts off all the big ass fans. You can figure if we had a fire inside the building, all the big ass fans running, where's it going to push all that smoke? Down on the people, down on the floor. So once there's a fire or something's indicated, they can hit a master switch. It shuts them all off so that smoke rises so we can get in or out of the building if there is an emergency, and then go. So each one that gets hooked up, we call on the fire marshal weekly, and they go over all of them before they can be turned on. One of the issues we're finding is they're turning off that system to make sure everything in the system is good and not going back and resetting the ones that we have. Hang on a minute. All right, so it's all tied into the fire alarm system. So once we get trying to make sure we get maintenance up there to reset those as we need, we should be fine. The goal is to have them all done by Thanksgiving if everything goes good. If not, it'll definitely be done by Christmas. Ice machines. As we made our walks and got several complaints about the ice machines stinking or smelling, we've had those maintenance guys go out and look at the units that we found. They found food, they found gloves, they found screws, bolts in these ice machines. Please, they are not wash basins, they're not sinks, they're not somewhere to throw your extra stuff in. Your fellow brothers and sisters on the lines are the ones that use these machines. Let's just try to keep them clean and not wash our dishes and stuff in those. Some of the wash basins that you're seeing around, we got maintenance going around emptying out the wash basins because the water and stuff that's been washed into them is starting to stink. So we got them going around cleaning out the wash basins, stations that were temporary around the plant. Another thing I like talked about is graffiti. Everybody works here, we're all adults. No one was raised to destroy property or think it was something funny. Lately, we've had a rash of graffiti in our restrooms and walls throughout the plant. This is unacceptable and downright disgusting. We're all adults here. We don't need to be putting racial slurs, religious slurs, harassment, sexual innuendos, comments, pictures. I mean, we're adults. We all need to, the ones that are doing this, please, there's no place for this in the workplace. Your fellow brothers and sisters that use the restroom or walk up and down the halls, we don't want to see that. That's not LAP. That's not who we are. If that's something that you feel you need to do, then go home and have fun on your walls at home. Don't bring it to the workplace, please. And if for some reason you're caught doing it, that is, tearing up company property, and that is a terminating offense. So if you see something, don't hesitate to report it. This is not what LAP stands for or going to be about. Restrooms. Who uses the restrooms more than we do? No one. So if you don't like LEDAC, that don't mean you don't think they clean enough, you think they're lazy, whatever. Who uses the bathrooms? We do. LEDAC just comes in and clean. So breaking the toilet paper dispensers, breaking the paper towels, the soap dispensers, you're thinking, oh yeah, that's going to show them. That's not going to show them nothing. All that's going to do is hurt your brother or sister from using that toilet, that urinal, that wash basin, that soap dispenser. That's not affecting them. They don't care. All they're going to do is put in an order, and one needs to be replaced, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks, and the whole time your fellow union brothers or sisters are having to do without or having to wipe it on something else. These are our restrooms. They may not be the best. We're working on that. That's part of our local negotiation items. As money gets released, we plan on trying to fix all of our restrooms as much as we can and make them very respectful for everybody. So the only ones you're hurting are the people out there you work with. You're not hurting LEDAC one bit. All they're doing, they're a cleanup service. Whether they do a cleanup job or not, okay, well we can handle that, and it's going to get addressed. We got new companies coming in. We got meetings set up with them, and we will make sure that our obligations and what we expect our bathrooms to look like and get clean are going to happen. One of the things I heard, they're on, they call it performance. They're a performance-based company on their cleanup. Their performance don't make it, they don't get paid. So me and Ford's already had several discussions, and we want to get parameters of what we consider their performance. At what point do they not get paid because 4 restrooms, 2 restrooms, parking lot, garbage cans on the line? So if it's performance-based, I want some guidelines so I know what we're going to follow, and we're going to hold them to the T. A few things about the parking lot. We've gotten a few calls. Remember, if you have a handicap, that information has to be turned into security, and it's only good for a year. If you're driving a vehicle that has a handicap sticker, that handicap sticker must be for you. Just because it's in the car, just because it's on the license plate, and it don't have your name registered to that license plate as being the handicapped person, you still can get towed, and you will get ticketed. So if you have handicap or you need that spot, you need to go to security, turn into paperwork. Remember, we're all trying to leave at the same time. It doesn't do no good to ride somebody's bumper on Fern Valley Road when we got a long line trying to get out of the plant. Just take turns, just like anything else. Everybody let one out, and we all just keep moving, and that line will keep moving. When you're parking in the mornings or in the afternoons when you're coming to work, when you're parking, if you pull in a parking spot on a big thoroughway aisleway, it's going to take a long time to try to back out of that spot. So if you think about it, back into the spot, or if both spots are open, pull all the way through so you can pull straight out. Several people said, I wouldn't mind letting them out, but they're trying to back out, and you're trying to back out while people are coming in and people are leaving. Get it to where you can just pull straight out, make things go a lot easier. If you're not good, come on over and practice on the weekends. You'll be getting real good. Try not to throw your trash out in the parking lot up against a fence or something, because eventually it'll roll out in the parking lot, it'll bust. Salary don't park out in our parking lot. Some do, but how many more hourly do we have than salary? Keep our parking lots clean. Keep the debris, the bottles, the cans, the garbage. Put it next to the can. If the can's full, set it next to the can. Or throw it in the back of your truck until the can's empty, or until you get home, or until you run by a dumpster. Keeping it out in the parking lot, throwing it out there, just trashes up our parking lot. There's 4,000 of us and 200 of them. Whose car is going to get damaged? Whose tires are going to get flat? Probably 95% is going to be one of your hourly brothers or sisters. All right, I'd like to touch on some quality. Let's start off the Corsair. Things gone wrong per 1,000 units. In 2019, we were number 2. 2020, we're number 6. The Corsair appeal ranking, in 2019, we were number 5. 2020, we're number 2. So the customers love the appearance of the Corsair. The Escape, things gone wrong per 1,000. 2019, we were number 2. 2020, we're number 15, which is about middle of our segment, but we got a lot of room for improvement. Appeal, we were number 13 in 2019. 2020, we're number 1 with appeal with J.D. Power. Misbuilds with 3 months in service, that means they found something that may have been missing or wrong or not right. So, and it's per 1,000 is 0.45. So that means we're building the truck to a schedule. There's, maybe 1 or 2 in that 1,000 that is drawing down our number, where it may be, a hub, the little cap, center cap that goes on it, something's not matching up, and a label's missing. It could be anything. But quality is our number 1 thing. For any plant, quality will keep you a job. So who builds the trucks and SUVs? We do. Who can control their jobs? We can. Who's the best on our job? We are. If you see something, say something. If you see something broke, unplugged, missing, scratched, tore up, say something to somebody. Just don't let it go down the line. You look at that truck every day when you're doing your job, something don't look right, something routed wrong, say something to somebody. Another person may not know they're not even doing it, or they're supposed to be doing it. But those little things there, that'll help the end of the line. Pre-delivery is our customer. We want pre-delivery. We want a unit to get off the end of the line, go through rows, go through pre-delivery, hit that gate, and that's where we make our money. So the cost of that unit goes down, which is affected by quality. So if we do a quality, the unit's going to get cheaper, and it's going to be our job security. Quality is our job security. So if you think it's not, they go hand in hand. A long time ago, we were considered Lousyville back in the 70s. The plant came in, we turned it around, and became number 1 with the Explorer and the Ranger. So let's stay on top of it. We're in the middle of the pack. Let's get to the forefront. Absenteeism is still high. We're about in the middle of the pack as far as the 15 plants. This is just another area we have control over. We have about 250 people still out on the CARES Act. We need our employees to come to work. We have to show Ford up there in Michigan that LAP wants its jobs, wants more work. We want a new product, but it takes the quality, the cost, and people need to come to work every day. It's still in our hands. We can make it. We can make the change. COVID. Right now, looks like we got 10 cases. There's only 3 that are work related inside here. There's 7 that are non-work related. So we're doing real good. So that's only 10 cases that are 10 people that we have out right now. Everybody else is returned and going good. Keep wearing your mask. Keep wearing your glasses while here at work. Do not spend more than 15 minutes talking to anyone, or stay 6 feet apart or further. Will keep our COVID tracing down. If you're going into these stores and stuff, make the employees pull their mask up over their nose. Say something to them. Your Kroger that's ringing up your groceries, the bagger that's bagging your groceries. Make them put the mask up. Say, hey, do you mind covering up? I haven't had any of them. They complain a little. They say, oh yeah. So the first thing they say is, do you know how hard it is to wear this mask? I say, yeah, wear it 12 hours a day. I know exactly how hard it is. You're doing an 8-hour day. I'm doing a 12-hour day, just like everybody in here. So she didn't have nothing to say after I told her that. Flu season's right around the corner. And as you're reading, just like the rest of us, COVID, the flu, is it going to make another strand? Is it going to get worse? A lot of us are going to have symptoms. The good thing is, maybe the mask, if you're wearing them outside of here, going to the different places, all the germs and stuff flying around, they will help keep the virus down. It may help the flu not spread as wildly through your family. So wearing the mask will definitely help. Please protect yourself. The ones that are on the CARES Act and stuff, there's a few things that are the draw on unemployment. If you haven't had a chance to see, Pennsylvania, they found out that 10,000 inmates were drawing unemployment while in jail. A bunch of international fraud rings have gotten into our unemployment system and stole a lot of identity, and they know all the facts about people. So California, one of the states, they have suspended all new claims for 2 weeks so they can get control of what's going on and who's getting all this money. I'm sure it's going to eventually trickle down to all the states verifying and checking who's getting the money. And right now, unemployment's still a big issue. If you watch the news, there's millions and millions of people that still have not received anything. TFTs, the class of 918, 4 people converted with a seniority date of 6/23/20 with December eligibility. We have 2 classes left this year. 10-2 class, which has 4 people, 11-6 class, which has 11 people. Approximately 175 TPTs have gone to full time, and with the pay raises and everything, you should be at $18.96. So, good job. Glad to have you on board. Keep up the good work. Last but not least, I got a few questions about the 4-day work week. I just met with the plant manager earlier this morning. It's still on the table. We're still throwing some ideas around. A lot of it's tied to all of our vendors and stock, because once we change, they sit down, they write contracts up like UAW has a contract with Ford. Ford has contracts with all their vendors on what they expect and how many hours and how many parts they need to produce on this many days, and the drivers, the trucks, everything's in there. So when we go to a 10-hour day, a lot of contracts got to change and a lot of costs. They're adding a bunch of cost in. So we went over a bunch of costs. They're going to run some different figures and some different costs on products that we need here and what we can store on site. Normally we keep about 350 trailers on site. We're going to look at different facilities of parking trailers off site, moving stuff around, what suppliers can keep stock on hand if we were to work 5 8-hour days, and say one of those days is a holiday for us. They can bank that 8 hours on days, 8 hours on nights, put that 16 hours of stock on the side, or bring it here to where, or we unload it if we have enough room on the floor space. So then if we were to go to 410s, we already have 16 hours of stock ready for the following week. And they continue doing their 5x8 schedule. So, they're sending us 16 hours of stock. If we're on 8 hours or 10 hours of stock on days and nights, that's 20 hours. Say they send us in 8 and 8, so that's 16 hours. So we're still short 4, but we just created 16 from the previous week. So we'll pull 4 off that 16. And by the end of the week, we'll be even and turn right back around again on Friday and unload 16 because we're not working. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's not off the table. We're still talking about it daily. We're hoping to get something. So on behalf of myself and the UAW, keep up the good work. God bless.